80s movie detectives. Slick, smooth, smart. Axel Foley, Eddie Valiant, John Book. While these guys are great detectives, do any of them have a black belt in Aikido and the boots to match though? Only one man does. Harry Crumb.
That's right, the Harry Crumb.
Who's Harry Crumb, you ask? Well, it's an almost cult classic. I think at this point I'm bound to talk about every John Candy movie. So without further ado, let's get to the next one. Who's Harry Crumb? A fun 80s comedy that deserves way more attention than it gets. The film, made at the height of John Candy's movie career, was sandwiched between his hits, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Uncle Buck. This film was one of few films that John Candy produced. It was released in 1989, opening at number 5 to negative critical reception, with John Candy incorrectly blaming himself for the movie's failure.
How difficult is it to read reviews or to sit in the audience and hear reactions, and the reaction and the reviews are pretty much the same? We like John Candy, we don't necessarily like the film.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like a guy who goes 4 for 4 but his team loses?
Uh-huh. It happens. Yeah, you feel terrible about it because you really want the movie to succeed. You don't take them just, well, I'll get paid for it, and that's great. I don't care about the rest of it, as long as I look good in it. That's ridiculous. That's not me, anyway. There's a lot of people like that, I'm sure. But,
In reality, the failure of the movie can be attributed to poor marketing strategy by the studio.
as I say, if you're not involved with the assembly of putting the picture together, and even beyond that, the marketing of the picture, which these days is just, that's as important as the script.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they sell it. I mean, look at this summer with Batman, Ghostbusters, the campaigns that have come out. It's just, they're to be applauded.
In reality, Harry Crumb is a great role for Candy, and you can tell he's having a good time on screen. It gives him the opportunity to dress up as many zany characters, all of whom were fun to watch.
And you're leaning over like this?
Yes, that's correct. And suddenly, he leapt out at me. Aha!
So, it was not as easy as you said.
The movie is directed by Paul Flaherty, who worked with Candy on SCTV, and you can tell there's great chemistry and trust between them. The movie begins when Elliot Drazen, head of Crumb & Crumb Detective Agency, played by Jeffrey Jones, making his third appearance on a movie I've discussed in this series, has kidnapped the daughter of a millionaire. To keep the case from being solved efficiently, he brings in Harry Crumb, the last descendant of the agency's great founders.
Well, by the shine of your suit and the cut of your shoes and the look in your eye, you must be Elliot Drazen. No, I'm Drazen. Master of disguises, eh?
Elliot deep down knows that Harry Crumb is incompetent and won't be able to solve the case, while giving the kidnapped girl's family the appearance that the best man is on the job.
Elliot tells me you share my love of languages. 你是换讲国语呢，还是广东话?
Aha!
But of course, through Harry's unconventional ways, he actually starts to solve the case, aided by the girl's sister, played by Shawnee Smith.
She's perfect.
Perfect? See, I don't know. I mean, look at the size of her head. She must be enormous.
Who becomes the Watson to Crumb's Holmes.
Crumb, are you okay?
Don't worry, Nikki. I've got a firm grip. Everything will be just fine.
Crumb!
Harry also relies on a series of elaborate disguises, which mainly become an excuse for Candy to showcase his excellent character acting ability.
You say you're from New York?
No, I work in New York. I am from Budapest.
Oh, Hungary.
No, thank you. I had a falafel before I got here. I am VJ. VJ from Bombay. Bombay Air Conditioning. Let me present you with my card. When the going gets hot, the hot get air conditioning. Oh!
You can tell everyone who worked on this movie had a good time, because a lot of the cast are either friends of John Candy or friends of a collaborator of his, like John Hughes. These are great character actors such as Paul Flaherty's brother, Joe, who makes a small appearance in the movie.
That's it! Left, right! Come on!
As well as Valerie Bromfield as the actual police detective in charge of the case.
I know you by reputation.
My reputation precedes me. Otherwise, I'd be late for all my appointments.
And then there's Annie Potts as the kidnapped girl's stepmother.
Mm-hmm. Just like those animals that took our Jennifer.
Yes. They're animals, all right.
The movie is way more silly than Candy's other 80s films, with several slapstick sequences that showcase his talent as a physical comedian.
What kind of stationary bike has a brake?
But that's why I love it the most. It doesn't take itself too seriously and knows what it is. I hate the fact that John Candy couldn't live to see it become more popular, and that he blamed himself for its box office failure.
Oh, no! Touchdown!
It's one of John Candy's only movies that had a real franchise potential, with the movie even setting up a sequel that would never come.
Looks like this one could get a little rough.
As with other 80s movies I've talked about, it's clear there's a longer lost cut of this movie, as there's several images from deleted scenes that have never seen the light of day, as well as a supposed scene included in the cable version of this movie that has Harry Crumb flooding a wine cellar. This is even evidenced in a scene where you can clearly see wine stains on Harry's pants. If you think you might have this scene, please get in touch, because I'd love to see it and share it. John Candy would never produce a theatrical film again, and that's a great shame, as I think he had a future working behind the scenes on movies.
You find that crazy typewriter, and you'll have your kidnappers.
I'm biased because I love the guy, but this really is a fun movie that I recommend checking out.
Harry Crumb, it's for you.